today. See if it works. Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome to today's episode of 49 Faithfully. We're your hosts, Miriah Lee, Teran Lewis, and today we're joined by a very special guest, Mike Eng. Thank you for joining us. What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
Doing good. Doing very well. Nice Saturday. I'm surprised about the weather right now. It feels pretty good outside. I was out
Yeah,
there
it's
putting on my
nice.
new. I was out there putting on my new license plates, and I was just like, "Oh, it's a nice little breeze out here, so can't complain."
Yeah. And you, Mike, what's going on? You started a new channel. Why don't you let everybody know what you got going on over there?
Yeah, I found an old video from about 11 years ago where I was recapping. It was Niners versus Ravens when Harbaugh was our coach, and I showed it to Mike from Nothing But Niners and Wayne. And Wayne was like, "Yo, you should make a show where you recap games in less than 20 minutes." And I was like, "Yeah, it's a good idea." So decided I was going to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good
That's
idea.
awesome. Congratulations on that too, fam.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's a lot of people don't realize, until they get into this, like the hard work that it actually is. They think, oh, you just get to sit down on the computer and go live and call it a day. Like I had no idea before I started this channel what I was getting myself into. And by yourself too, it's a lot harder, than people think. So luckily, I found TL along the way, and he's helped, that a lot.
Appreciate that.
But yeah, I put Mike's link in the description to this video. Make sure you guys go over and subscribe to him, please. Show him the same love that you continue to show us. Say what's up to everybody in the chat. Tanya, 49ers Throwback, John B, Joey, the Centennial,
Brian
Brian.
Pope. Yeah,
Yep, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for spending your Saturday with us.
absolutely. The Sentinel. I don't think I've ever seen you, so if this is your first time, welcome. If not, I apologize.
Yep, we appreciate you. Um, as you guys start to talk, we put together a new little thing for the giveaways. So we're gonna have a bunch of different random 49ers cards, of course, in this box. And so then whoever wins, I'll just randomly select one. So put a little mystery into the prize giving, something new. So get a little random card. There's all different kinds. There's signature cards in there, numbered cards, regular cards, all different stuff. So I don't know. I mean, we don't really have like a schedule to plan for today. We're just going to go over, what's been going on with the 49ers lately. Of course, they can't keep my quarterback's name out their mouth. So why don't we start there? There was an interesting thing that came out this week about questioning Trey Lance's arm fitness. I know this is something that, TL wanted to touch on. And to me, yeah, get that arm ready. It's kind of interesting, and like I told these guys before the show started, is that the things that they talk about Trey Lance about, with his arm and his arm strength, the arm fitness, whatever to do with his arm, and then you're going to compare it to Noodle Arm Jimmy. That's what really pisses me off on top of everything. Like, we know this guy has a cannon of a freaking arm, like that's the last thing that I would question is something about his arm fitness, his arm strength. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
Go ahead, Mike. You can go first.
I don't know. It's crazy, of course, because we've seen him. We've seen him throw deep. We've seen him throw short. I mean, I haven't seen any kind of issues with arm strength that I could see. I could see somebody saying, "Oh, experience," but not arm strength. I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, crazy to me.
Yeah. So from what I understand, arm fitness means like because the guy Ryan Harris said pretty much like he doesn't know if Trey can throw for a full season basically. So what's funny about it is because they're comparing it to like, well, he didn't throw that much in college. This and that. He hasn't played a significant amount of snaps for over a year. So they're thinking his arm by like week 12, week 13, or whatever the case may be, won't make it for a full season, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. in my whole 42 years of life, I don't think I've ever heard anybody be criticized as much as Trey Lance, as far as like, things he can do on the field, as far like this arm fitness thing. I've never heard of it before. So it's laughable to me, but at the same time irritating, because they're not giving our future quarterback a chance at all. These people from outside the organization just feel like they're coming up. Feel like they're waking up and like, oh, let me find some material to write about Trey Lance, because it's just the hate is just ridiculous and it's nonstop. The fact that he's been working out, this whole offseason, the fact that George Kittle invited him to the tight end situation, I don't think anybody inside the organization is worried about Trey Lance and his arm fitness and it not lasting a full season, especially with this kind of organization who loves to run the football. So to me, it's laughable. I just don't understand where it's coming from. People outside the organization, fine. You guys can say whatever you want. You have your opinion, to me, is irrelevant. And people inside the organization, people who are fans, their opinions are irrelevant too. But at the same time, it pisses me off more from the fan base who like the 49ers, because they're sitting here giving any kind of excuses for Trey Lance and just, and I just don't get it where. And this is what I hate. I hate you guys sit there and, if you're a real 49er fan, you guys hate on Jimmy, so why isn't it okay for us to hate on Trey? Well, the difference is Trey hasn't had his chance. When Jimmy came in 2017, I don't think there's not one fan who wasn't happy about what they saw after those 5 games. Could we all agree to that?
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy came in 2017, he balled out, got his contract. I think going into 2018, every fan was excited. We saw over the last few years how he is not it, how he is not going to be able to take us to the promised land, how he's limited. So now, yes, I've given up on Jimmy because I've seen enough. You haven't seen anything with Trey, and yet you guys are already making excuses and, oh, he's not this, he's not that. You don't know anything. So I think that's what pisses me off the most about that stuff. And I just find it funny that, and we talked about this before, Miriah, and people in the chat, it's only when you criticize Jimmy or the quarterback situation is the issue. Because I hate when people say, oh, you're not a real 49er fan if you criticize. Well, Josh Norman, as we mentioned, has been criticized all year from getting burnt. Where was you guys are hating. You guys are not real Niner fans. You're hating on Josh Norman. You know me, Miriah. I was hating on Eric. I wouldn't say hating. I would say giving fair criticism to Eric Armstead all year about how he wasn't doing good on the edge. He needs to be moved inside. Not once was I called a hater, but as soon as you bring up the quarterback, it's, oh, you're not a hater, it's a hater. But yet, for us people who support Trey aren't real faithful, and then the people who are supporting Jimmy are, well, yeah, he's a winner, this and that. So there's so much hypocrisy when it comes to this organization and the quarterback position that it's unheard of. And and frankly, I'm getting sick of it. Obviously, there's nothing I can do. People are going to do what they do, but give the man a chance. He just turned 22 on May 9th. Give the kid a chance. If you don't take the word from, and this is what Jason Aponte said, and he's absolutely right when he was on our show last week. When people sit there with Trey and the organization and they back Jimmy, see, the team believes in him. He does this, he does that. But when Jimmy Ward, Trent Williams, Fred Warner comes out and say, oh, Trey's the man, he can do this, and that, it's, well, they don't know, and this and that. So that's why I say the hypocrisy is comical, because they take the word of a player for Jimmy, but don't take the word of a player for Trey. And it's just irritating. I can't wait till Trey comes out and shows what he can do, and he balls out and shuts everybody down. So that's what I have to say about this arm fitness nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I think it was so refreshing to have Kittle, do those couple of interviews this week and, talk so great about Trey, because we know, like, especially at the beginning of the season, and I'm sure it was, hard for all the players, and they were all sick of getting the questions about, who's going to be the quarterback and what, about Trey, when, everybody knew that Jimmy was the quarterback at the time, but we all know that I was upset with Kittle because, I felt like he was always, bigging up fucking Jimmy and talking bad about Trey, or not talking bad about him, but just, not showing him, the kind of, love, I guess, that, I was expecting. And so it's refreshing, for him to come out and say all these things. And then, for him to say that, that's their big quarterback surprise that they're bringing to tight end U was Trey. Like that's awesome that because we never seen Jimmy go to tight end U last year or whatever. Like he never did shit with with Kittle during the offseason, and we know very well that Jimmy don't answer their texts, don't answer even Kittle's texts, and that's supposed to be his guy. So it's nice that, and we saw them together at the Warriors game. We've seen them together at a Giants baseball game before, so it's nice that Trey's, I guess, being accepted and being the leader and being in the group, like with the top players of the team.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point.
What were your thoughts when you heard, the things that Kittle had to say, and then with him going to tight end university?
Go ahead, Mike.
I was excited about it. I was glad to hear, somebody come out and say some, like you said, nice things about Trey, because a lot of people are quiet right now, and I get it. It's the off season. Nobody really wants to talk about anything. Plus, I know they probably already believe in him and don't feel like they have to tell everyone, hey, we love Trey, or whatever. But yeah, and it's nice to hear that he's going to the tight end university too. I think that'll give him some good opportunity to get with a bunch of other tight ends and see what it's like to, practice with them and get ready for the season.
Yeah, it's a good point. And so I'm gonna go back to what you were saying, Miriah. It's true. Like, with the George Kittle thing, I was a little upset too. Like, man, why isn't he supporting this guy? But I think Kittle's just in a situation where he's just like, I'm gonna support who's ever the starter because I don't want any controversy. And if you've seen that it's funny. I'm gonna bring something up that he had on the show with Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee asked him, like, hey, do you think it created some awkwardness in the locker room? And Kittle was like, yeah, it did. I'm not going to say it didn't. Yeah. But at the same time, the three things he said that made me happy, I guess you can say, he goes, everybody in the league is looking for a younger, better, cheaper option. So that right there just shows you that he thinks that, I feel like he truly believes that Trey is better than Jimmy. And I'm going to say this. I don't care what nobody says. Jimmy wasn't invited to tight end U because he can't make every throw. Yeah. They need quarterbacks who can throw all over the field, and Jimmy can't do that. You notice they have Trey Lance coming. They asked Josh Allen to come. People with cannons of arms because they need these. They're probably looking, because not all tight ends run 10-yard slants. Like, there's tight ends who can get up the field. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why they're like, let me get these strong arm guys. And Jimmy, no, I'm not bringing you because you can't make every throw. You can't throw deep accurately. So I'm not inviting you. So I think that's my opinion why he never showed up there and was never invited.
Yeah, sorry, you guys. We can only, we're only going to practice in the middle of the field today because that's all our quarterback can do.
Exactly.
Shout out to Callie. Thank you for stopping by. You're probably at work, so I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Who else did I see in here? Emiliano, appreciate you. Denise, what's up, sis? Hope you're doing well. Jets gang, we always appreciate the Jets in here. And yeah, that's what I was going to bring up too, is that they talked about Zach going as well, which a new upcoming young quarterback that can make the throws.
He has strong arm, exactly.
Yeah. So that's pretty awesome. I think that's great experience for Zach and for Trey. To Absolutely. Be out there, to get in the minds of all these other tight ends that have been doing it. They're bringing in tight end superstars that aren't even in the game anymore. So for those young quarterbacks to get in there and be able to pick the brains of these tight ends as well, I think that would be great. John V.
I agree. I don't expect anything less from John V.
Let's Chronicles, what's up, fam? Tia, appreciate you. But yeah, and then there was Chris Sims put out his quarterback rankings, and I'm not too upset with this for the fact that, for one, he gave an explanation of why, which a lot of these idiots out there that just want clickbait freaking shit, they just throw out some random shit and say, oh, I heard, or, it's going around that blah, 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 and don't explain anything behind anything. Chris Sims puts out his rankings every year. He, does in-depth explanation behind everything that he does. From last year's rankings, he did move Trey Lance up like 6, 7, 8 spots, whatever it was. And I mean, I don't know how much you're expecting that he's going to move Trey Lance up from last year when he's only played 2 games. I mean, he didn't move him down in the rankings, so that's a plus to me. He moved him up in the rankings. The guy hasn't played yet, so like, are we expecting that he's just going to put a quarterback just because he has talent in front of quarterbacks that are playing already in the league? Like, that's where that's why I'm not too mad about it. But what are your guys' thoughts on the whole rankings? Because I think he had him at 31 out of 32 quarterbacks.
Go ahead, Michael.
I was listening to Shant Club earlier this morning when Breezy was on, and he made a good point. He said I'm not mad about what he's saying. He's not saying anything wrong. He's saying he's inaccurate, and we know that he can be inaccurate, and he's going to work on that, and that's something he can work on. So yeah, I'm not upset with what he said either. So I'm pretty much on that side.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, how can you rank somebody in the top 15 or whatever when they play 2 games? Like,
Yeah.
you haven't seen enough. So I get the point on it. And actually, I'm going to give Chris Sims some props on this because he's really the only one who has said, and I don't really call it negativity. He's really the only one that's put Trey, I guess you can say, like lower ranking or whatever the case may be, that had an explanation for it. Excuse me. So yeah, so I was funny. I was talking to that Yo Adrian guy, right?
Yeah.
We were talking the other day, and he was talking about how people calling Trey Lance a bust and stuff like that. And I was like, I'll never be pissed off at somebody's opinion if he has some substance behind it. If you sit there and tell me Trey Lance is going to be a bust, tell me why, instead of just saying the level of competition and he didn't have any snaps in college. Those are for saying those 2 reasons. I'm sorry, your point is irrelevant to me because you're not giving me any substance of why you think he's going to be a bust. Well, he didn't play against nobody. Okay, that's not a good reason because there's many of people in the NFL who hadn't played against anybody. I mean, you got a Pro Bowl linebacker in a Darius Leonard who played at a small school, and now that man's a top 3 linebacker in the league. So don't give me this, he played at small school nonsense. I mean, Josh Allen played at Wyoming, for God's sakes. So don't sit here and, like, if you're going to tell me, like I said, everybody has a right to their own opinion. I'm cool with that. But have some substance of why you feel a certain way. If I sit there and I say I don't like Jimmy G on this team and you say why, I'm going to give you reasons why, not just say, oh, I think it's just time to move on. Like, no, like that's not a good reason. So, yeah, so with Chris Sims, he can get on my nerves sometimes because sometimes he's a little wishy-washy on his takes. But I think Kyle is sitting back and he's just like, you know what, let everybody talk trash. I think Kyle is loving it, to be honest. I think he's sitting back like, okay, everybody's sitting here hating on Trey Lance, saying he's not ready, arm fitness, whatever the case may be. He's not accurate, but Kyle's sitting back licking his chops saying, okay, I got you guys right where I want you. So week 1, I'm going to shock the world. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I see with the Chris Sims comment. So,
yeah, I mean, we all know that Chris Sims and Kyle are best friends, right? And I feel like, Chris always says that Kyle doesn't give him any info anymore because, he's in the media and we know that he runs his mouth and all this. And, we know since Kyle took over this team that team keeps everything close to the vest. They don't let out leaks. They don't let anything out, so, which makes sense. So it just seems to me that Sims is a little salty when he talks about the 49ers always. Because for one, he can't sit there and be a homer talking about the 49ers because everybody knows about that relationship, right? So I feel like he adds additional like hate on there just to quiet down the rest of the freaking people. And then for 2, his best friend doesn't give him any info. So, to him makes him look stupid because, oh, well, that's your best friend's team and you don't know shit about it, So I just feel like I like Chris Sims personally because he talks about the whole NFL. And, obviously I'm not just a 49ers fan, I'm an NFL fan. So he's one of my go-tos. I just like I just like him, like he's chill. He smokes weed. That's my kind of guy. So yeah. But I just feel like I just take his 49ers takes and just whatever, because I just feel like he always has some saltiness towards us for whatever reason.
Yeah,
Um,
no, that's a good point, Mariah. And two, what's funny too? I was thinking the other day, I was just like, you know what? I wonder if and I know Kyle doesn't give Sims any information and stuff like that, but I kind of feel like it's one of those things where Kyle's like, you know what? Say whatever you want about my team. Like, if you want to talk negative about my quarterback, go ahead, because you're just doing me a favor to let the NFL know that he ain't ready. And some people are sitting back probably thinking like, well, if Chris Sims is saying Trey Lance isn't that good or whatever the case may, he must not be because he's boys with Kyle. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it could be a situation.
They
Yeah.
are thinking that. I
Oh
mean,
yes.
they think just because Jimmy's still on the team that the team doesn't have faith in Trey. It's like, even though Kyle and John
Said
have both came
himself.
out and said that they have faith in it, that's why they're trying to trade Jimmy. But people still think that that's like, people are crazy.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Jets gang real quick. I have no hate towards Zach Wilson. I liked him. I liked him coming out of college. I honestly think that, if you guys didn't take him before us, that the 49ers probably would have taken him.
Yeah, I think so too.
Zach and Trey were my two favorite quarterbacks coming out of that class. I don't like that long-haired freaking guy over there.
Don't care for Trevor Lawrence?
No.
When Kyle traded up to 3, I felt like
when
Kyle traded up to 3, I was like, okay, he must be okay with any of these top 3 quarterbacks. I think he was okay with whoever fell. Like, because everybody assumed and knew pretty much that Trevor Lawrence was going first. So I think Kyle was like, if I move it to 3, my consolation prizes or whatever, and who knows, he might have had them above Trevor Lawrence. Who knows? But he was like, okay, I can trade up to 3 comfortably, knowing that I can get either Zach Wilson or Trey Lance.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Hey Bashar, appreciate you. Beto, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you always, fam. But yeah, I mean, it's slow right now, so we just have to take this shit with a grain of salt. Like I've been saying, if it's not coming out of the 49ers and it's not coming from the beat writers that are, in-house there directly, Matt, even Grant, all of them. If it's not coming from them, then, I mean, we shouldn't be believing it. And even I think it was Matt Maeko came out and said as much, this week. Like, that the 49ers haven't been on the field. Trey Lance hasn't been on the field. There's nothing bad that the 49ers in-house could have possibly said about the kid because they haven't seen him,
exactly.
He's been in there, like to say what's up to the rookies and, showing his face. But it's like, what? He's out practicing like on some random ass fields everywhere with the team, with his guys and shit. And it's like, what? The 49ers aren't there to see that. Kyle's not there. He's not there holding their hand saying, oh, are you sure you're throwing that right? Does he have arm strength? It's like, so ridiculous. Like, I'm just so over this shit. And like you said, I can't wait for Trey to just come and, and of course, like even Kittle said, he's going to have, bumps and bruises. It's still basically his first, year. But like the kid's going to light the fucking league up, and I can't wait till it happens and just shut all these freaking people up along. That's the Jimmy fans, the Jimmy sexuals, the haters in the media, whoever the hell it is, anybody that has something bad to say about this kid that hasn't even got to, show anything about himself. Like he hasn't even got to step a foot on the field really to show what he can do. And like people are hating on this kid and like making it personal. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And people are so blinded by the stats of Jimmy and the record and stuff like that. So I feel like those people who are like that don't understand football. Because that was something that came out, I want to say it was like 2 weeks ago. They had something about the quarterbacks who have thrown the most yards and most touchdowns in like the last 3 years or something like that. And it was Tom Brady and Jared Goff. So I'm like, that just shows you right there. Stats don't mean anything. It's about the eye test. My eye test showed me that Jimmy G is not it for us. Period. I don't care what his record is. And then the people want to bring up you had Brian Hoyer, you had Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard. They couldn't win. Yeah, you're bringing up all backup quarterbacks. Yeah. And like you're bringing up, it's not like you said, oh, well, you guys had Derek Carr too, or you guys had, so, you know what I mean? They're bringing up dudes who are barely holding on to a position in the league. And you want to bring up their record compared to Jimmy's, which Jimmy is a starting quarterback. And just to bring that up, thinking of Derek Carr thing. So I was on with JV in the locker room rant on Tuesday night, I believe. And this is how blinded some of these people are to Jimmy's win record. Somebody, and this is no joke, and Bashar, JV, Niner joke, and I'll attest to this. somebody on there, the guy Nick, said that Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, and Derek Carr were all below Jimmy G as far as quarterback rankings.
That guy loves Jimmy.
They said Jimmy G was a top 12 quarterback, and those 4 quarterbacks are after him in rankings.
Yeah, he always sticks up for Jimmy. John V fights with him freaking nonstop because that guy is a Jimmy lover.
Hilarious.
Yeah, Nick is all about Jimmy. He is before they got Deshaun Watson, he was like, "Oh, I'll take him.
Yeah, it's like when you're a Browns fan and you're used to rooting for trash. Like, what do you expect? Like, even their helmets remind me of a freaking trash can. Like,
yeah, it's comedy. I was just like, really, bro? I was like, and then of course, like, not to get off topic, but we're just like, I truly believe if we had Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins or even Kyler Murray in 2019, we win that Super Bowl. I don't think so. I'm like, okay, dude, I'm done arguing with you because you don't know what you're talking about. So.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, Tanya, he lost his mind.
Anymore. Like, I used to just go, like, be in the chat, and I'd be so freaking pissed off by the time I got done watching that show. It's like, I'm supposed to come here for entertainment, you know?
That's why I love going on there when they put him in the penalty box.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, that's the only good part when they have him in the penalty box. They should keep him there the whole show.
You know what I'll say, too, about Trey? Like, I had mentioned this the other day. And people say, like, why does Trey get so much hate? And I was like, what? If Trey was on Chicago or if he was on the Jets, I don't think he'd get as much hate. I truly believe Trey gets so much hate because, one, he's inexperienced and he's playing for a probably top 5 to 7 Super Bowl team. Like, if you look at the rosters across the board, you can say 49ers are at least a top 7 roster. You know what I'm saying? And I think because so many fans think, or even analysts, outside people think like, man, the 49ers are this close to winning the Super Bowl. Why wouldn't they just stick to what they got and not, saying this and that? But I tell people, I'm like, well, Kyle sees Jimmy, he has front row seats and he knows he ain't it. So I think he knows what's going on. So people even doubting Kyle, like, is Kyle even right? Like, I think getting rid of Jimmy is unwarranted, but I'm just like, you got to think about it, man. It's like we look at it and I think it's just people just having an issue with how good the 49ers are and how dare they go with somebody inexperienced when your roster is that good. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where a lot of the hate comes from. Because like I said, if he's on the Houston Texans, if he's on a bottom feeder, I don't think the hate is there like it is what he's with the Niners. The Niners are was like a popular organization. Everybody always says that we travel well, like we're everywhere. So I think like the 49ers are just so good and people just don't think that Trey is ready to take this team to the next level. So I think that's, in my opinion, I think that's where a lot of the hate comes from.
Yeah.
I think it also comes from I've heard it a few times. It's just if you hate on the 49ers, then everyone comes at you. You get attention, you get clicks, you get, whatever. Because that's what we do. We get mad and we go after everybody.
Yeah,
like
true.
Adam Rank, when he told us we were going to be 3-13, we blew that guy up. And that's what we do.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
It's easy to be like, hey, hate on him. Let's,
that's an excellent point, man, because, everybody, and it sucks too, because we give too much attention to people who are talking bad about our organization. Like this Daniel Kelly cat, like he got these 49er fans right where he wants us. Yeah. He's talking bad about Trey, and people are atting him every single day. And he's getting the attention he wants. You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things where it's like, just if we start ignoring these people, they would probably stop. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. People are going to be like, you're an idiot. You're this, you're that. Explain to me this. So they're just sitting back like, okay, cool. I got the detention I was looking for. You know what I mean? So.
Well, that too. And that guy, Lombardo, whatever the hell that other guy's name was that none of us had even heard of. Yeah. Yet he comes out with some, random ass thing that, Trey's not impressing or whatever the hell. Yeah. And all of a sudden, like his, freaking page is like blown up because 49ers fans are talking about him every day.
Exactly.
Like,
yep.
And after we talked about that, what's that? Daniel Kelly. After we talked about him on the show, that same day, he's in my freaking mentions on Twitter. I didn't freaking at him or anything. I had never even talked to the fucking guy, yet he's all of a sudden in my mentions, So that's exactly what he's trying to do.
look at Callie's comment. He said, "What the f is arm fitness? Like Jimmy's arm fitness is any better?" Exactly.
Exactly. And then up here, Courtney, thank you for stopping by, has said analytics ruin sports. No one uses the eye test anymore. And I
Amen to
think,
that.
yeah, I think
Exactly.
people are expecting that analytics to take over the game without watching. Like you need to have like a combination of things. Watch the game with your eyes and then use the numbers to back up what you're seeing. Not just go to the numbers and get your whole story from that, and that's the end of it. So I completely
Yeah.
agree with that.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, the fact that Jared Goff and Tom Brady were mentioned in the same sentence shows you need to use the eye test.
Yeah. Bryant says, and this is something that we had talked about before, with Trey obviously being black. He says, just asking the question, is any of the hate Trey is getting because of this phrase on the back of his helmet?
You can go ahead and go first, Mike.
It could be. I mean, you never know. Some seems like after what happened with Kaepernick, everybody likes to jump on somebody that says something or put something on their helmet or anything like that. Even though me being a white guy, I don't look at it that way. So I don't know why everybody else does, but people are like that. So
Yeah, I to answer Brian's question, I think so. I don't think it's all of it, but there are people who are who get upset when they hear the BLM stuff like that, and
Yeah.
all that stuff, and people want to say, well, all lives matter, which is true. Like I don't but I think when people say Black Lives Matter, they're talking about it in a different aspect. They're not when people say Black Lives Matter, they're not saying that all lives don't matter. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
yeah,
That's where the issue comes in at because they think that's what situation is. So yeah, I mean, just like you said, Mike. I mean, you got the same type of hate for Kaepernick because people I'm not watching NFL no more. Like he's a disgrace to
Yeah.
the country. This is this and that. So people are going to always have their opinions. I do agree that some of the hate probably comes with that, but I think a lot of it is. I mean, it's a bunch of things. But like, I mean, I don't know if I'm correct in this, but when Russell Wilson got drafted and took over, I don't remember him getting that much hate in Seattle, and he's black, so I don't
Yeah.
know where that comes from. I mean, but I think I think I mentioned this before. One, it's him playing at a small school. Two is him not playing in 2020. You know what I'm saying? And then so they're like, oh, he don't have enough snaps. And three, I do think a lot of it is racism. Because I mentioned this before. There are a lot of people who feel like a black man cannot lead a team to victory. People have this, well, like people are like, well, black people can be great athletes, but they're not intelligent enough. But the fact that Trey came out and people were saying, and not only just our team, everybody was sitting here saying, people were saying like, oh, Trey was probably the smartest quarterback in this whole draft class. So you can't. So I don't know what you're doing questioning his intelligence when numerous people have said he's intelligent, and you can just tell by the way he speaks.
Yeah.
Like he uses proper words. Like he's not real like hood. I guess you can say like you can just tell the man isn't. And I'm not saying people who are hood aren't intelligent, so don't be getting it twisted in the chat. But I'm just saying like you can just tell by the way he talks. He's just a well-spoken man, and I just wish that people can just see the man and not the color. But unfortunately, it's never. I don't think that's ever going to happen. So
Yeah, I mean, I even saw reports this week about people still questioning. Oh, maybe it's because Trey Lance hasn't picked up the playbook, or maybe it's because he's hasn't been the quarterback they expected. The guy that they drafted isn't the same guy that showed up in the building. Like they thought they were getting a smart, intelligent, this guy, and somebody else showed up. It's like we already heard like he spent the most amount of time in his iPad or whatever the hell it was studying the playbook. We already heard from Kyle that he had the playbook down, and it's yet people are still throwing that out there. Oh well, maybe he's not smart enough. So that's where it comes into play for me. That if that was a white guy, people still wouldn't keep questioning the same shit over and over and over, even though we've heard something different. You're hearing straight from the coach, straight from the people in the organization that, oh, Trey's got the playbook. Trey's, hella smart. We've heard that Jimmy, is not very smart, and that's why it took him so long to get the playbook. Yet people are throwing that at Trey when, we've heard different. So that's where that whole color thing I think comes into play there.
yeah, I mean, you heard Kyle saying this in October. Trey has the full knowledge of the playbook. He just needs to snap. So I mean, the man already knew what he was doing. I mean, I'm sure as soon as he was drafted and signed his contract, he got the playbook. So as soon as he got the playbook, he had his head in it, and then by October, he knew the full playbook. And everybody knows that Kyle has a real extensive playbook. Everybody always says it's a difficult system to learn, and yet Trey had it down packed by like week 5 or 6 of the season. He just needed snaps. So I don't want to hear this foolishness of, oh, he's not smart enough, this and that. But like I said, I don't remember Russell Wilson getting that kind of hate, him being a black man. I remember Donovan McNabb did for Philly. People were pissed and saying he couldn't lead a team and this and that. And then he proved them wrong because he was a good quarterback. Yeah. So, yeah, I just think, I don't know. Hopefully, like I said, we talked about this, Miriah, and I think Trey, I'm just glad that he has a great support system behind him as far as his coaches, the players, and his family. So he's going to keep his head on straight. He's not a troublemaker. And I truly believe, like I said, week 1, he's going to shock the world. And like I said, he's going to have his bumps and bruises. I'm not saying he's going to go out and throw for 5,000 yards and be Patrick Mahomes like he was in his second season. But I truly believe something like a 3,400-yard passing season, maybe like 400 or 500 yards rushing, a total of 30 touchdowns, something like that. You know what I mean? He'll have his interceptions. I think 12, 13 interceptions. But, hey, if, and what's sad about it is people are sitting here talking about, well, everybody says that Trey Lance is better. So if you don't make it to an NFC championship game, you made a mistake by getting rid of Jimmy, which I don't look at it that way. I look at it as like, Trey's progress and how he looked during the season. That's not a mistake if he was out there doing his thing. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
He's got to grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And there's another thing with that Daniel Kelly guy. I feel like that guy is like, he's like, there's doubt right now. So I'm just going to come out here and I'm just going to throw all this stuff out. Oh, he's a bust. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. He's that. And then if it comes true, then he can come back and go, see, I told you all I knew. This is what was going to happen. But he's doing it now because when, Trey starts playing and does well, then he's going to have to sit back and be like, well, I can't say it no more because now everybody knows.
He's going to be one of those dudes that if it happens and Trey's not good, he's going to say, see what I tell you, but won't be man enough if it goes right. If it goes right, he won't sit there and be like, you know what, fam, I was wrong. This, and that. He's not going to do that because you can see in the way he acts that he thinks he's some know-it-all that thinks that Trey's going to be a bust, bringing up his third down completion percentage and all this other nonsense. You know what I mean? Dude's a straight fool, man. I don't take any, and I don't even give him any attention. Like when I see his stuff on my timeline, I just keep it moving, man. Like I'm not going to say nothing to this dude.
Yeah. Even when he was in my mentions, I put up replied with like a GIF thing, and then I freaking didn't say another word to him.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
He's not worth my time, to be honest.
No. Nice, Sam. Appreciate you listening to us while you get your pedicure.
Nice.
Enjoy. Got to take care of yourself. 49er game.
you guys asking that same question. What is arm fitness? I have no clue. I have, like I said, from what I heard, for the people who are kind of newer into the chat, they were saying the arm fitness thing because they don't think he can throw effectively through a full 17-game season. Like they think like because he had minimal snaps in a D2 school that his arm's going to tire out, after a certain time that he can't be able to make it into the playoffs or whatever, which is absolute embarrassing to say. Like, where's your proof in that? And the dude's been throwing all off season. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, I was
going to say if that was a problem, then he's already out there throwing before the season. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. Exactly. It shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like Emiliano said, that there's people that want Purdy, like, oh, well, Jimmy's not going to be here. Purdy's going to beat out Lance for the quarterback 1 job. And it's like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, like if Purdy was black, would we still think that Purdy was going to beat out Lance for the QB1 job? Or
not at all.
Like, how does that work? We'll go ahead and do a giveaway now. Go ahead and pick a number in the chat, 1 through 100. Make sure you don't duplicate numbers. Whoever puts the number first will get that number. And then what else did you want to talk about? I know we kind of went over, position group battles and stuff.
We can probably do that next week, just so people we can prepare for it.
Yes. What are your thoughts on, how rookie mini camp went, Mike. What position battles are you excited to see? Because I know me and TL kind of talked about it, but we haven't got to hear what you are feeling about the rookies and all that jazz.
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good, but I always feel pretty good. I'm one of those type of people that, when Alex Smith came here, I was excited. When Colin Kaepernick was doing well, I was excited. So I get excited for everybody and pretty much everything. I mean, I'm extremely happy that we got Jason Poe after seeing him on that other show. What's the name of that show again? Real Talk, Nine Talk. Yeah, when I saw him on there, and I was like, oh, this good guy. I hope we get him, and we ended up with him. So I was pretty happy about that. And but yeah, I'm excited about everybody. That's why I like preseason, because I like to watch the rookies play. They get most of the playing time during that time, so I get excited to watch all that. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
So let me ask you this: as far as the draft class, because usually 49ers for the most part have gone after players who have like well-known names, I guess you can say, like Aaron Banks. Even though people weren't happy with the pick, like he was a well-known left guard that started at a big school, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So after we got all our 9 picks, who did you look at and be like, who is this guy? I never heard of him. Was it the majority of the draft class?
Oh, several of them. I mean, I didn't know who Samuel Womack was before the draft. I didn't know who Nick Zakelj was before the draft.
Spencer
then
Burford.
again, I don't. Yeah, Burford. Also, Castro Fields. I didn't know, but then again, I don't know a lot of. I don't really watch a lot of college anymore. I'm a Nebraska fan, but I haven't really watched college football like that. There was guys that I wanted, of course, but I'm getting to the point now where I'm used to the 49ers never going and looking at anybody that I think we should get. So I kind of reserved myself to say, all right, well, I like this guy, but they're probably not even going to look at him. Like, I was all about Cam Jurgens. I'm like, Nebraska, perfect. Put him on the 49ers. And they don't even look at him. So I'm just
That's funny. Well-known fact, man. Just a small fact. Adrian Martinez went to my same high school.
Oh, okay.
The quarterback for Nebraska. Yeah, but I went to.
Yeah, I remember him.
I mean, obviously, I graduated a lot earlier than him, but yeah, me and him went to the same high school, and he was amazing in high school, like one of the best high school players I've ever seen. So that sucks that he hasn't panned out as everybody has thought. But yeah. He's a great athlete, just hasn't really turned it into a good quarterback yet. So, did you find the winner, Miriah?
I was giving him a couple seconds to get.
So we can talk about too. Let me ask you guys this: what are your guys' thoughts on people freaking out about rookies getting the numbers of players who've been on the team for a long time? Because I've seen so many people freak out about Spencer Burford getting Joe Staley's number, and I'm just like, you can't retire everybody. Like, I get it; he's a mainstay, he's been on the team for a long time, but at the same time, like, unless you're like, to me, Joe Montana, Ronnie Lossos, those guys who have given us multiple championships and stuff like that, they to me deserve to get their numbers retired. But at the same time, like, you don't hear people talking about Kamoko Toure getting number 53 when Navarro Bowman had it for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what are your guys' opinions on that? I think it's ridiculous that people get so upset.
Yeah, I saw when you were talking about that on Twitter about that, when people getting upset about it. Yeah, I'm with you there. If we retired every number of every great player, then we'd run out of numbers. There's no way that we could do that. So I don't have a problem with it. I know a lot of them, I think some of them might go back to the older players and say, hey, I want to wear your number. Is it okay? Or whatever. But even if that's not the case, it's not a big deal to me. I mean,
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with having several people with the same number that are good.
Absolutely. Well,
Deion Sanders 21, Frank Gore 21. You know what I mean? That's
exactly
nothing wrong with that.
Well, just like what number is that? 75.
Not me.
Let me see. Who did I see on there? Yeah, like somebody like the Dallas Cowboys, like Michael Irvin. As much as he was a great player, he sat there and said, "You know what? Go ahead and unretire my number because Des Bryant wanted to wear it. Now CeeDee Lamb has it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
You should want that. You should want those numbers. You get multiple players, and you can say, "Hey, the great 88s of your team or whatever the case may be."
Yeah, I agree. Like, we can't retire every number. If the player, like, I know that Staley's, like a fan favorite because he was there his whole career, but I mean, the guy didn't win a Super Bowl with us. He, didn't get he's not an MVP. He's not, like we've seen a left tackle come in and be better than what Joe Staley was already, so it's just like, again, that people hang on to their feelings for players. And
so I guess we got to retire 71 to when Trent Williams leaves because it's just it's crazy to me.
Can't retire everything.
Yeah.
You got to pick and choose.
49er minded one. Congratulations. Let's see what you get here. I don't want to let it be random. Hopefully it's not Jimmy G.
That'd be hilarious. You should take Jimmy G cards to the Goodwill. Just give them away to anybody.
They don't want them either.
John Taylor.
Oh, that's amazing.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Congratulations, Bashar. And then I haven't sent out anybody's winnings yet because my daughter's graduating Saturday and we've just been crazy hectic around here. So I decided, since we're doing this like every show, that I'll just do like either once or twice a month, send out everybody's, so that I'm just not at the post office every freaking day.
Here's my
so I promised everybody stuff.
Oh, very
nice.
I can get it in the camera, right? No, I can't.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
There was this guy at the 49ers draft party that John Chapman threw. His whole helmet was full of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see it? He had a bunch of cool signatures like Navarro. It's funny because he had it off in sections. Like he had the linebacker sign it in one area, wide receivers in one area. So he had like Fred Warner, Navarro Bowman, and Patrick Willis and Derek Smith and all that in one section. Then on the other side of the helmet, he had like the wide receivers, and in the back had D linemen. It was cool, man.
Yeah.
Like it was almost time for him to get a new helmet because he had a bunch of signatures.
Yeah,
I know somebody that got a helmet like that.
Oh,
really? We do something called Random Act of Kindness, where people get together and they pull money together and they get something really nice for somebody. And there was a 49er fan that we got a helmet like that, a bunch of signatures all over it. It was awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. What else did you want to talk about?
I think this has been pretty slow. So,
yeah.
Next week, not next week because you're taking a week off for your daughter's school, unless we go with Rohan. But me and Miriah are going to start a position group like series, like just break it down, see who's going to win the job, and talk about our depth and stuff like that. Like we'll talk about the O-line one show, then wide receivers and corners, whatever the case may be. So hope you guys tune in and look forward to that.
Yeah, I think we'll probably have a weekly show if you're free. I just can't do a Saturday show because it's my daughter's graduation.
Yeah. Congrats on that.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Is she moving out, or did she say she wants to stay for a while?
I was already trying to kick her out, but she turned 18 last week, so I was already packing her stuff to the crib.
Trying to kick her out.
You're one of those parents, Miriah. You're one of those ones that's like, all right, you're 18. See you later.
Yeah, right. That won't fly around here. This is as white as I am. This is for sure a Mexican household, so there ain't no kicking nobody out of the house. Like, if you're family, you'll be living here for the rest of our freaking lives, probably. So we'll have the whole family in here.
That's hilarious.
No, she was gonna go because she's in ROTC. She was gonna go off to the military, but she changed her mind, and whatever she wants, safer for her not to be there. So
well tell her if she wants to go to the military, tell her to go to the Air Force. That's the easiest branch that they're out there. The boot camp is only like 6.5, 7 weeks. So tell her to go to the Air Force.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what she's going to do. I think she enrolled into community college for now to get her, regular crap out of the way until she decides. She don't know because we're planning to move out of Vegas. So, she's going to she's looking to go to the university in Oregon, which obviously that's where I want to go. So I think that's why she's leaning towards that,
Okay.
And, she's not ready to go live on her own, she's not an adult yet to be living on her own, so she'll probably, and probably when we move to Oregon, even if she's in college, if she's living in the dorms, at least we're not too far away in case, she does need us or something. So, yeah,
that sounds good. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the topics that we had for the show.
Yeah, I was just going to see what else you had sent.
Any questions in the chats or anything?
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, since it's a Saturday show, it's just more chill. But if you have any questions for us, please send them. We'll get to those.
49er Gang 916. Yeah. I was told, it was funny too because I didn't listen. Everybody kept telling me, "Oh, go to the Air Force, go to the Air Force." I'm like, "No, it sounds like it's too soft and this and I want more of a challenge." So I was more of a challenge. So I ended up joining the Navy, because the boot camp's longer and they have more extensive swimming that you have to pass and stuff like that.
Me
But
too. I
did
was
you?
Navy too.
You know what's so funny, bro? So you know what's so funny about that? How many people joined the Navy and didn't know how to swim? I'm like, what are you doing here? We had dudes who were from like the South, especially like Louisiana and stuff like that. Because I had a friend named Scott, and I was like, why did you join the Navy if you didn't have a pool? He was like, I mean, he didn't know how to swim. He's like, I don't know. And I was like, you guys don't swim in Louisiana? He was like, nah. He's like, too many alligators. Like, he was like, we don't have that many public pools, and like if you get a pool in your backyard, the alligators still find a way to get in your backyard unless you have like an electric fence. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, that's crazy to me. So you didn't know how to swim, huh?
No, but I was figuring I'm gonna be the first one to get to that life preserver before anybody else can. So,
Like, I think when it's like life or death, you know, like you figure out how to fucking swim real fast or else you die.
True,
you know,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
sink or swim, buddy.
Yeah, I remember when they first put us in the boot camp, they made us like tread water for a long time, and they were like, "You can't go under." And remember that? And I was just like, and that was painful, man, because I feel like.
And I had the life
water.
preserver in that too. So
did you?
When they had to jump from the super high area into the pool and then do the treading and then swim to, I had a life preserver then. So they offered them to us. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, nope. So that's how they found out who couldn't swim. They were like, okay, you can't swim. So they had to go to like these swim quals for like a while, and you know, this and that, and yeah, it was crazy.
That's funny. That's what her junior ROTC, whatever. It's for the Navy. So I mean, that's what she was planning on going to, was the Navy. That's what my grandfather was in as well. So like that's what my family's always been about, was the Navy. So.
Tell her be smart and don't go to boot camp like I did in January. I lived in California at the time, in Fresno. I go from being in like 60-degree weather in January, then flying to Chicago and being like -2.
Oh yeah,
screw that.
Horrible.
I went in the summertime. I went in August.
Hot, huh?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Brutal. Yeah.
Bryant says, if we lose to Seattle twice, who gets fired?
John Lynch.
I think that if anything bad that has to be somebody getting fired happens this season, that it's going to be John Lynch. That's what it is.
Yeah. He'll be the scapegoat.
Yep.
He'll be the scapegoat, and he'll just go back to TV or something. Like Kyle's not. They'll get rid of John and Adam Peters or whoever before they get rid of Kyle, I think.
Yeah.
How about this? What if Jimmy ends up going to Seattle, whether that be we cut him and Seattle signs him, you know, everybody that we cut, they seem to get their hands on, or if they do end up trading him to Seattle, if that's no other place, can't trade him anywhere else, that's the only offer on the table is Seattle, and Jimmy goes there and beats us twice.
Oh man, the outcry is going to be ridiculous. See, it would be a terrible situation. I don't see that happening because we all know that our defense knows Jimmy like the back of their hand, and Jimmy's always known for throwing interceptions in practice. So he'll throw them in the real games. I think Fred Warner and Aziz and them will be like, cool, I'm going to sit right here because I know where you're going to throw this football. So, yeah, I don't see it happening. But if it did and he beat us twice, oh, my God, I'm staying off of Twitter for like until the season's over.
And that's what I keep saying, that I'd be happy if he went to Seattle because that's at least 2 interceptions for Fred a season, right?
Easy.
You know, so.
Him, Aziz, or Jimmy Ward, there's somebody who's going to get an interception for sure. Yeah, I agree. I just find it comical that all this time they had Russell Wilson, they never addressed the offensive line. And first pick of the draft, I think me and you were talking about it. We were laughing. They were like, oh, they want to wait till Russell Wilson's leaving. Their first pick was an offensive lineman.
Didn't they draft like 2?
Yeah, they drafted 2 offensive linemen. Yeah, alligators in South Carolina too. Yep. I'm telling you, man, the South, everybody, it's funny. I swear to you, I feel like 90% of the people who couldn't swim were from the South, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina. I'm like, why don't you join the Army? They were like, I don't know. And like, you guys had better jobs than the Navy. And I'm just like, okay. But it was just funny how they couldn't swim. I'm like, you're going to be on the water. You know that, right?
And I would think places like, especially Louisiana, they're around water, like all those places that have, you know, large bodies of water around them, you know, But yeah, I guess if you have crocodiles and alligators and shit, you
Yeah.
ain't trying to go in the water.
No, not at all.
And I ain't trying to live anywhere that has that shit either. So that's why nowhere for us to move is on that part of the United States. It's not in the radar. With any place that has some weird ass animals, I ain't trying to go there.
It's funny.
I'm used to the desert animals. I appreciate you all you guys showing your love for my daughter. Thank you very much.
Yeah, congrats to her.
Congrats to me for not killing her before she got through. No, and like she's a good kid, thankfully, like I always think, like shit, I would be losing my mind if that would have been me, growing up, like the way I was as a teenager and shit. Like, oh man, like I feel so bad now for what I put like I lived with my grandma and grandpa at the time, what I put them through, because man. And it's like little things like, and I'm hella strict on her because I grew up in Vegas. Like I know what kind of trouble you can get into in Vegas, so like I've been hella extra strict on her. But, this year, and she hasn't always, had the best grades or, whatnot. But, this year, like it's been so nice to like get the letters in the mail that, oh, your daughter is graduating with honors and she has to go to like, we've had 3 different award ceremonies in the last 2 weeks for her to go and get medals and awards that she's gotten. And so it's so nice and just like such a breath of fresh air to finally like relieve for all of us, to just be done with it finally.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we made it.
I was kind of the same way. Like at first I was kind of strict too, and I'm just like, you know what, I can't be too strict because when you're too strict, they're gonna end up sneaking out. They're gonna do what they do. So it was just more me trying to put so I have an older daughter that's about to be, she'll be 21 next year, but I just pretty much try to keep her up on game because my daughter is a beautiful girl, and I had to tell her like, look, this is what you need to watch out for with these dudes and stuff like that. Like I try to keep her on game when it came to the guys because I know how they think. So I'm just like you need to be careful with this, that. If they tell you this, they're lying to you. This, and that. So yeah. So my daughter, I feel this way. If I can get my kid to 18 and they graduated from high school and never been in juvenile hall, I did my job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I did my job. So, because I was an absolute mess when I was in high school. I always liked to fight and, sneaking females into the room and stuff like that. So, yeah. So it was, I was an absolute mess. So I'm just glad that, I have kids that are good kids. And my mom used to always just say, your kid's going to do you dirty like you did me and this and that. And I'm just like, well, I got one that's gone who didn't do me that bad. So we'll see what these other 2 do. So
I think all parents say that to their kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
My mom used to always tell me that.
I got a 13-year-old myself. So yeah, he's a pretty good kid. So
yeah. I feel like my son is like the easy one, like because my daughter's out the house. She moved to Salt Lake City with her boyfriend, so she's doing good and stuff like that. Then I have a son that's 14. He's chill, like he just likes to chill, stay in his room. He likes to hip hop dance, stuff like that. Like he's no trouble at all. And then I'm worried about my youngest daughter because she's daddy's girl, and I'm just worried about like I hope she stays that way. But I'm like, man, I hope she doesn't get into high school. She's only 11. Hope she doesn't get into high school and then start giving attitude and all this other stuff. But yeah, so it was funny. She came home on Valentine's Day and had a rose because some kid gave her a rose in junior high. Oh, this kid said he has a crush on me, and I was like, when I go to your cheerleading event, I want you to point him out to me.
Yeah. John V says, yes, 13 and 10.
Boys or girls, John?
I hear a lot that boys are easier.
They are. I feel that way anyway.
Yeah.
I always wanted a boy just because, obviously I wanted to have him in sports and do all this, but it's been good.
It never works out that way. I'm into sports, but my son's not really that big into it. Anything that he likes, it's because he knows that he can hang out with me. If he like, you like to open football cards, okay, I'll open football cards because it's something we can do together. But he's not really into it like that. He is excited to go to the Panthers game this year with me, though. I asked him. I said, "You want to go?" And he goes, "Oh, absolutely." And I was like,
"Okay,
I hope you're not
I'm going to try to go to that game." I agree, Tanya. Boys are easy. Girls have the attitudes and are expensive. But what's funny about it is I was pretty lucky. Like my daughters never really gave me attitude because I used to like it's funny because I'm pretty chill. Like I have a calm demeanor, but they know when I get upset and I start to yell, then like, oh crap, like dad ain't playing. But they give their mom attitude sometimes. But even then, I'd be like, step in and be like, you need to watch how you're talking to your mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't put up with that nonsense. And I'm sorry, Dad. And so yeah, like I don't play them games. Because I told my kids they're lucky how I raised them, because my parents didn't play that. Like, you got told something once, and if it wasn't right, go give me that belt.
Yeah.
Like, my parents didn't play that. Like, you did something one time, like they said, you better go clean that room. If I'm in there messing around and not cleaning it right, my mom comes swinging a belt. Her and my dad come swinging a belt, because they're just like, oh, you're messing around. I don't do my kids like that. I give them warning. I talk to them, hey, this and that. But then they know when I start to raise my voice that I'm not playing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I agree, Tanya.
It's a different time anyway. I don't think we could get away with the belt thing nowadays. It seems like, kids calling people and all that, calling the cops on their parents and all kinds of crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Vegas is funny. Anyway. It's funny. My old neighbor is a correctional officer at a juvenile hall, and he told me that, of course, kids, they really don't know this, but he said that here in Nevada, at least, that you're allowed to spank your kids. That when they call the parents, like, they have to have proof of, like, you were abusing them, wherever the case may be. But he said no. He was like, in Nevada, you have every right to correct your kids. And he was just like, because I guess he had like a seminar of like kids like trying to call the cops and stuff like this about like being neglected. And it's crazy. In the state of Nevada, all you have to do, which is crazy to me, but all you have to do for your kids to have like even enough clothes, as long as they have underwear, socks, and two pairs of pants and 3 shirts, that's the bare minimum you can give your kids. Two pairs of pants, and 3 shirts. That's the bare minimum for it not to be child neglect. I'm like, wow. I go, that's all? He's like, that's it. I'm like, that's crazy.
I do agree with this, that the boys definitely are more full of energy. Like, they're, they want to be jumping off the walls and shit, and girls are more chill, when they're growing up. But the girls are way more drama than the boys. Like, my daughter still just turned 18, and you can't say something to her without her talking back. Like, that's something that drives me nuts. Like, she always, and it's not like, she won't be like saying something, smart ass necessarily or whatever, but she always has to have something to say back. Like, I can't ever just tell her something and that be it. Like, she always has to have something to go back.
I always have to have the last word.
Like, oh my God, it drives me crazy.
Like, I tell my son tries to do that sometimes too. He'll be like, yeah, but Dad, I like, shut your mouth and just do what I said.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear, like, because he's going to try to get the last word every time. And my mom was like, see, that's how you were. And I'm just like, Mom, just go somewhere. I don't want you to just put your little input in. But yeah, my son always tries to have last word. Yeah, but this. And I'm like, shut your mouth and go do what I said. Period.
My mom's a trip. I get mad at my son and I yell at him. And she's like, why are you yelling at him? I'm like, why are you yelling at me?
Exactly.
Let's do one more giveaway before we go. Go ahead and drop your numbers.
Yeah, I told my
and then
mom,
just make sure, like, I don't care what you guys are talking about in the chat, just make sure you guys are keeping it respectful. I would rather you not talk politics in the chat, or, but that's kind of this topic that we were on for a little bit. So just make sure you guys are keeping it respectful, please, because I will not hesitate to throw your ass out of here.
Miriah.
I appreciate you guys.
Everybody should know not to talk that in public anyway. Politics, religion, those are
politics and religion are the
off
worst.
Topics.
Yeah.
All right. I guess Mike's going to be the only winner. He's the only one with the number in the chat.
Oh, here we go.
There comes one.
Here goes one. 916. You must live in Sacramento.
I think it wasn't there that where I saw there was a shooting this morning. Was Sacramento?
What's your Sacramento? I don't know.
Somewhere around there. Like a shooting at a party. 10 were shot. 1 dead.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Like, you can't go anywhere these days. Shit.
Yeah, I keep my pistol on me at all times. I don't play that. Yeah, seriously, man.
Yeah, you have to these days. Shit.
Yeah, it's not like it used to be.
No.
Me being 44, so I'm like, I'm used to the fighting, the fist fighting, and it's not even a thing anymore. It's like, they go straight to the gun now.
Yeah, well, that's sad too. That's why none of these kids nowadays don't know how to fight.
Yeah, that's true.
Seriously, like, I'm like, man, like, what was that? Like that wasn't a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they just don't know how to fight because they're too scared. They want to get their guns and stuff like that. It's crazy.
And that's like crazy. Like I never like you said, growing up, like I was a fighter too, and I never showed up for a fight or anything like in high school or whatever, thinking, worried that the other person was going to have a weapon or that somebody was going to pull out a weapon. That thought never crossed my mind one single freaking time.
No,
ever.
Nope, not mine either.
Same here. It's like you
Come
fought,
on, you guys,
and that was
drop the numbers.
Like you fought, and it was in the story. I mean, there was even time. It was funny. I remember when I was in the military. You could probably attest to this, Mike. I had this senior chief. We're out to sea, and these two dudes were just going at it and stuff. My senior chief was like, "You know what? Stop the crying. Go down into the magazines because I worked in the weapons department." He's like, "Go down to the magazines, fist fight it out, and be done with it." Like I don't want to hear your nonsense.
Yeah.
So yeah, like because when you go out to sea, you're around these people 24/7. Like
you can't go anywhere.
You can't go anywhere. So it's 12 on, 12 off work. You're around the same people. So you get irritated because you can't go anywhere. So there's times you just have to just let out your frustration. You go in there, you fight, shake hands afterwards. Because at the end of the day, you might have to save this man's life, and he might have to save yours. So it's just you fight. Either you get knocked out, or he gets knocked out. You shake hands and be done with it. But now it's not like, oh, I'm gonna go get my gun because you knocked me out. You know what I mean? So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Mike, you're a Warriors fan too?
Nah, I'm a Bulls fan.
Oh, okay.
Chicago Bulls.
Grew up watching Michael Jordan, so.
All right. Shout out to the Warriors.
I don't want to hear about
dominating 2 games.
You said you are a Giants fan?
Yeah, I'm San Francisco
That's what I'm
Giants
talking
fan.
about.
I was a huge Barry Bonds fan. Still love Barry Bonds. Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Mitchell made me a Giants fan. You remember him?
Yeah.
Him and Will Clark.
Will Clark, yeah.
He had the prettiest swing I've ever seen, man. It was so smooth. Him and Ken Griffey Jr., lefties.
And that Matt Williams, was it?
Matt Williams, he had the third baseman, yep.
Yeah. And Jeff Kent when he was there.
Jeff Kent, yep.
JT Snow. There's a lot of
JT Snow. Robbie Thompson, remember him? The shortstop. Yeah. I think it's going to be the Warriors and Celtics. I think that would be a great series.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, probably.
I thought the Bulls were going to
be good for Breezy. You know that?
Yeah, it's funny. Before the season, I thought the Bulls were going to be good. I was like, as long as they stay healthy, I like their chances. But then Ball got hurt. Yeah, then Ball got hurt. Patrick Williams got hurt. Zach LaVine was out for a while. Like, I don't think you guys had enough time to build chemistry. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, media. Thanks. We're just talking about the Warriors dominating right now. I don't care what you like.
I don't have nothing to say because I'm an Orlando Magic fan. So
yeah,
I just shut my mouth.
You just shut up. That's what you're supposed to do.
I just shut my mouth.
When your team can't even make it, that's what you do.
I mean, you don't have to go that far. You don't have to go that far. Okay, you just
just sit there with the Lakers fans and
whenever I think.
Well, at least with the Lakers. At least with the Orlando Magic, I'd say we're our average age is 23. We have no superstars. The Lakers have no excuses.
Yeah, their average age is 65. That's
65. Yep. they got their AARP cards on the Lakers. I mean, for you to have AD, LeBron, and Russell Westbrook, there's no excuses. I'm sorry.
Media, drop a number in the chat for this giveaway since nobody else is entering. Guess nobody.
But yeah, whenever I think of the Magic, I always think of Shaq and Penny Hardaway.
Shaq and Penny.
I always think of,
That's what made me a fan. It's funny because me growing up in California, it's funny because I'm going to be real. So I grew up in Fresno, which is Central Valley. There's 4 teams in California. Everybody I knew, either like the Kings or the Lakers. This Warriors, and I don't live in the Bay, so I'm not going to speak for the Bay Area. From where I lived, there was no Warriors fans. None, except for like a handful of people. Then when
they weren't good for a while,
and then all of a sudden, back in like 2012, 2013, everybody named Mom, Warriors, this Warriors that. I'm like, where were you in the 90s when they weren't good? Or like, because I remember them when they had like Chris Mullin and like these Tim Hardaway, like they were good then, but then they were bad for a long time. You know what I'm saying? You ready to give the giveaway, Miriah?
No, I'm waiting for them to put their
they were bad for a long time, and you didn't hear a peep out of the Warriors fans. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, the Warriors up. I'm like, well, where were you? Like, you guys disappeared for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you gotta. But your team, you gotta stick with them.
Exactly. Like me, as you can see, I like the Orlando Magic since I was in high school. I still ride for them. I'm not like, oh, they suck. Let me change. No, because it is what it is. Like, that's my team. You know what I mean?
Same thing with me with the Bulls. I've been a Bulls fan for a while. I don't always watch the games now because it's not always fun to watch, but I'm still a fan. So.
Yeah. Everybody was like the Lakers and Kings, and I never really had it. I didn't have a team till '93 when they drafted Penny Hardaway. But it was just funny because like everybody around me, all my good friends, was either the Lakers or the Sacramento Kings. I'm like, man, and I hated the Lakers. I couldn't stand the Lakers. So I'm like, I'm not gonna be no Lakers fan. I was like, and it was funny because I was like, I used to watch Penny Hardaway in college, and I was like, whatever team he goes to is who I'm gonna follow. But the funny thing is, he got drafted by the Warriors. And then the Warriors traded him for Chris Webber. Chris Webber, yep. And then so I was like, well, I'm a Magic fan. And that's how it all started. So I was 14 years old.
Yeah, I wasn't really a basketball fan growing up because my dad always wanted me to play basketball because I'm tall. And so, you know, like I didn't like him. So like he was all about basketball. Like he's a huge Lakers fan. Basketball is his sport, number one. And so I just purposely didn't like basketball, like because he liked it. So I did, however, like growing up, of course, I was a Shaq fan. So the only thing about basketball that I knew was wherever Shaq was, you know, so whether that was from the Lakers to the Magic, you know, and so on. Like I just followed him. And then once he retired, that, you know, like I didn't really care for basketball too much.
Yeah.
But then once, you know, I started watching basketball, of course, you know, since the Warriors are there with the 49ers, like that's who I took.
Yeah.
I played a lot of basketball. I'm originally from New Jersey, and I lived in across the street from like a park, and I was there all the time playing full court games constantly. So that's how I got into basketball. But
yeah, I played basketball. I played all sports in high school, but I wasn't that good in basketball. Like that's probably my least sport because all I could do was shoot threes and play defense, and people knew that. So it's funny because I'm only 5'8", so people would be like, "Oh, let him shoot." 28, let him shoot. So I'd hit like 4 or 5 threes, and they're like, oh crap, I think maybe we should start guarding him. You know what I mean? And then they started guarding me, and once you guard me, I suck because I don't know, because I'm not good handling the basketball. I'm not a good passer, but I can play some mean defense. Like my defense is fierce. You know what I mean? But that's all I could do. Yeah. But my best sport was baseball. I was really good in baseball.
Oh, I'm terrible at baseball.
Really?
Yeah. I ended up playing tennis in high school. I did tennis, football, and bowling. I never even actually played basketball in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Those are my 3 sports.
I suck in bowling, too. It's either a strike or a gutter ball. I don't know how to put the spin on the ball, none of that. I just get the ball, and I just
I'm a straight bowler.
I'm a straight bowler, too.
Are you? I don't put, the little spin with their wrist, and like, no, I don't know how to do all that.
I have friends that did that stuff, and I'm like, I don't know how they do it, and I'm not even trying.
Yeah, I suck.
Yeah, I was on the bowling team in junior high and high school, and then I was on an adult bowling team after high school. But since my car accident, I haven't even picked up a bowling ball since. So
you were pretty good then, huh?
Yeah.
Bowling was the easy sport in high school for me because it was like 1 day a week.
Yeah,
you have a game or one practice maybe. It was easy for me. Between football, because football was in the summer, and then tennis in the spring, it was just something to throw in there because I wanted the 3 sport award from my high school. So I was like, I didn't know that sport, so that's what I picked. It was just easy.
Yeah.
All right, let me pick this card. Looks like Celts is the winner.
Celts
See what you want. All right, a numbered 20 out of 50 George Kittle card.
Oh, nice.
Ah.
Gold team. Okay.
Gold team, yeah.
Yep. It's a nice card. I took this out of my personal collection.
Nice.
Go ahead and whoever won, DM me on Twitter your addresses, and I promise I'll have everything sent out this week. Maybe.
Maybe. You're funny, Miriah. No, it was funny when my dad went to prison. I used to play all sports, even volleyball. I was pretty good at volleyball too, but I played all sports. But you know how when it is in high school, it gets expensive. All these physicals, the cleats, all this stuff. So when my dad went to prison, my mom was like, "I need you to pick one sport and stick with it because I can't afford all these sports and I can't be at all of your games because you do." So I was like, "Okay." She was like, "I think you're the best in baseball, so that's what I think you should stick with, but stick with the sport you love." And I was like, well, I'm playing football. She was like, okay, like I'm just telling you. And then I used to be a quarterback, and then I didn't grow Then they moved me to linebacker, and then I was good at linebacker. I was okay. And then this guy transferred to our school, and he was better than me. So they were like, well, do you want to play fullback? I go, absolutely. Hit and score touchdowns. That's what I'm doing. So then, yeah, and it was cool. I played fullback my junior and senior year, and I loved it.
Yeah, I got to play a little fullback too, and not on varsity though. It was more JV, but the coach decided, because I pretty much played offensive lineman, but I wasn't very good. And one of the coaches was like, well, maybe he'll do better at blocking from the backfield. So then they just put me back there. Never gave me the ball.
Really?
It was fun.
That
No, I
sucks.
never got the ball. I used to beg him. I used to be like, hey, because I used to do the fakes every time. I'm like, they're not gonna see it coming. I'm like, just give me the ball.
That's terrible. Yeah, I used to get the ball like on the 5-yard line because I was pretty strong. So they were like, hey, we'll give you the ball at the 5. And I just punched my way in. I loved it. And then I get to hit people at the same time. So
I can't complain though, because my high school won the state championship twice while I was there. So that was a good experience.
So would you play, Miriah? You did bowling and basketball, you said, or no?
Bowling and soccer.
Bowling and soccer. See, soccer, I sucked. That was too much running
soccer,
for me.
but I never played it.
Yeah, like I've always had, like I was always played. We always played kickball. Like that was my jam. Like anything to kick like a ball, like that's what I'm good at. Like like I have hella long legs, so you gotta put them into use for something.
Yeah, that's so funny. You know, it's so funny, Miriah. Before we go, it's funny. So my oldest daughter, all she ever played was soccer. She never wanted to play anything else. And then so my youngest daughter was like, I want to try this, I want to try that, and she excelled. My daughter's a flat out athlete. Like I was at work one day, and she taught herself how to do a backflip when she was like 8 years old. Like she was like, look, I came home from work one day and she was like, Dad, let me show you something cool. And I'm like, okay. Like I thought it was gonna be a drawing or something. She hit me with a backflip. I'm like, what the heck, Sanaya? Like, what'd you do? She was like, oh, I practiced just jumping over the couch. I'm like, you're gonna break your neck, girl. But anyway, I put her in basketball, hitting threes, getting rebounds like a beast, right? Like I told her, oh, do you want to keep playing basketball? No, it's kind of boring. Okay. Put her in softball, hitting, and my daughter's a lefty, hitting home runs, stole bases, all that stuff, because she's fast, right? Stole base, all this stuff. You want to keep playing? No, because you stand around too much. There's no action. I'm like, okay. Tried her in soccer. Beast, scoring 2-3 goals a game. You want to keep playing, Sanaya? Too much running. I'm like, oh my God, like I can't win for losing. So I was like, what do you want to do? She was like, so finally we got her into cheerleading and she loves it. So that's what she does. She's a cheerleader now because she likes to dance and all this other stuff. So yeah, so we put her in that, and now we finally found something that she likes. But she excelled at everything, like flat out beast, and just like, nah, I don't want to do it. I'm like, okay, well. Crazy
Kelts,
girl.
yeah, I appreciate you being here. Of course, Ruben, he has forwarded his gift to you. So if you could go ahead and send me your address and I'll send it to you.
Cool. I appreciate you, fam, enjoying hanging out with us on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys having me here.
Yeah, thanks.
It's awesome.
Mike. Yep. And if you ever want me to like be with you on your show, just let me know, man. I'll come join you.
I don't know if I'm gonna do it live or not. It might be a video, but we'll see.
Okay. Whatever works. Hey, Miriah, save me one of them Trey Lance cards.
All right.
That's my co-host gift.
There you go.
Yeah, Mike, I appreciate you for coming on and spending time with us. For those that weren't here at the beginning of the show, we want to let everybody know where to find you, Twitter, and I have all his links in the description as well. Let them know what you got going on.
It's @woke_Mike Eng 16. It's been like that forever. I just changed the YouTube channel name to Woke Niner Recaps. So that's where you find me on YouTube.
And then you said you're going to start that with preseason games, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll start with preseason because I like preseason. So.
Okay. So yeah, for your guys' quick recap of your weekly games, make sure you stop over there and check Mike out. Subscribe to him. And yeah, we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us on a Saturday. We had, at least 20 people in the chat the whole time, so that's nice. Yeah.
Good.
We'll probably do a show sometime this week.
Yeah.
We got a couple guests lined up, so trying to work out schedules. But once we get that all figured out, yeah, we got some cool people to bring on for you. And we appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, fam. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yep. Everybody stay
Hey, you guys
safe.
think-
Much love.
Thank you.